In this video, we'll take a nostalgic look back at some of New Zealand's TV shows that ran throughout the 1980s. Before starting my research on this topic, I presumed I could cover it all in one video, but as I went deeper into the New Zealand TV rabbit hole, I discovered many lost gems I'd completely forgotten about. So this will be part 1, with more videos to follow. As always, please like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. A dog's show. What other country than New Zealand would enjoy a show about dogs chasing sheep? A Kiwi classic in all senses, the dog's show ran from 1977 to 1992, and I can still hear the farmers whistling commands to get their dogs to coerce those moody sheep into their pens. Commentated by John Gordon, mostly dressed in his swanee, a dog's show followed sheepdog trials around New Zealand and was a popular TV pastime for many throughout its run. An upbeat version of the Statler Brothers song, Flowers on the Wall, was used as the opening theme. Close to home. Although the series started in 1975, it was still airing until 1983, and I recall my mum watching it religiously, for a while at least. Over 818 episodes, New Zealand tuned into this soap opera. Set in Wellington, the show follows the lives of the Hart family, including Tom and Viv, and their associated neighbours and friends as they traverse topical subjects of the time. This series gave actress Iona Rogers her big break in New Zealand after relocating from the UK, and she was a familiar face during the 80s, ending the decade in gloss. Country Calendar. You're not a Kiwi if you haven't seen at least one episode of Country Calendar. Started in 1966 and still running to this day, this is New Zealand's longest running TV show. Originally aimed at farmers, in the mid-70s the show changed direction and became popular with everyday viewers and has consistently won TV awards most years since its inception. The familiar theme music is called Hillbilly Child, performed by Alan Morehouse. Country GP. Filmed in Whiteman's Valley, Lower Hutt, Country GP came out in 1984 and was the first New Zealand TV show to cast a Samoan in a title role. In this case, Lani Tupu as Dr. David Miller. Set after World War II in a rural South Island town, Country GP follows a country doctor who helps the locals of the fictional village of Masons Valley. Over the course of its 2-year run, 66 episodes were filmed. Gloss. New Zealand's answer to Dynasty, Gloss first aired on Television 2 at 8 p.m. on Thursday, August the 13th, 1987. The show follows the fortunes and misfortunes of the Redferns, a wealthy family from Remuera, who run a high-fashion magazine called Gloss. This show ran from 1987 until 1990, and as of 2021 is still not available to buy on DVD. Many popular New Zealand actors cut their teeth on this show, including Temuera Morrison, Miranda Harcourt, Lisa Chappell, Danielle Cormick, and Kevin Smith, who, whilst researching this, I discovered died in 2002 during a failed movie stunt. There's even a cameo by Mikey Havoc and his band Push Push, just prior to making a name for themselves in the early 90s. Heroes. First airing in 1984, Heroes was a teen-orientated TV series following the ups and downs of a group of friends trying to start a band in mid-80s New Zealand. Many familiar faces can be found in Heroes, including Jay Lagaya, Michael Hurst and Margaret Umbers, who plays Maxine, the cool-looking bass player of the band. A second season of this popular series aired in 1986. Hudson Halls. Peter Hudson and David Halls were chefs whose cookery show, Hudson Halls, ran on New Zealand television for 10 years from 1976 to 1986, before they then moved to the UK and became just as popular over there as they did here. This couple, who were openly gay when homosexuality was illegal, were not trained chefs, but brought such humour to a then boring topic that they were immediately signed by TVNZ once discovered. Unfortunately, Hudson died of prostate cancer in 1992, and Hall, who couldn't bear to be without his lifelong partner, killed himself the following year with a drug overdose. McFarland Gadsby. First aired in 1980 on TVNZ and running for 7 seasons, McFarland Gadsby displayed the comedic talents of comedy duo David McPhail and John Gadsby, as well as writer A.K. Grant. Taking a satirical look at the events of the day, the show was somewhat controversial, even receiving death threats after the first episode. David McPhail also did an excellent portrayal of Robert Piggy Muldoon, the Prime Minister from 1975 until 1984. Sadly, John Gadsby lost his battle with cancer in 2015 at the age of 62, with David McPhail passing away in 2021, aged 76. Mortimers Patch. New Zealand's first police drama, Mortimers Patch ran from 1980 to 1984 and followed Detective Sergeant Doug Mortimer, a city cop returning to his rural home of fictional Cobham, which was actually filmed in and around Helensville, northwest of Auckland. The series ran over 3 years and won numerous awards. It also spawned a crossover film called Trespassers, although not particularly popular with cinema goers who preferred their TV detectives to stay on TV. Radio with Pictures. In 1976, Radio with Pictures was born and lasted through the MTV years of the 80s until its cancellation in 1989. Radio with Pictures used to air on a Sunday night, just before the Sunday Horrors, and championed both New Zealand artists and the more alternative music tastes than other shows like Ready to Roll. Rumour has it that ex-Monkey Mike Nesbitt saw Radio with Pictures whilst touring New Zealand and took the idea back to his good friend Robert Pittman, who then created the global success that was MTV. Ready to Roll, or RTR. In contrast to Radio with Pictures, Ready to Roll showcased the more commercial side of music videos, with its weekly chart countdown and mostly international music clips. First broadcast in 1975 and airing on Saturday evenings, RTR, as it was also known, was a great way to head into the evening, and at its peak was viewed by over 1/3 of the New Zealand population on a weekly basis. Ready to Roll was cancelled in 1991. Shark in the Park. Shark in the Park was a police procedural set in Wellington and came out in 1989. The show follows Brian Sharky Finn and his team of police officers in both their professional and personal lives. This show also featured many well-known actors in guest roles, such as Lucy Lawless, Temuera Morrison and Carl Urban. The title came from the informal code term used by officers to indicate that the inspector was about and that they should look busy. Shazam. The last major television music series to hit New Zealand airwaves in the 80s was Shazam. Running from 1982 until 1987, the live show was aimed at a younger audience and aired on weekdays after school. It also hosted the popular Battle of the Bands contest. Over the years, this show was hosted by Philip Schofield, Philippa Dan and Michelle Bracey. In 1986, all music television shows were taken off the air by TVNZ in a dispute with record companies over royalty payments. The dispute was finally resolved by year-end and the shows returned to our screens. Telethon. Grab your sleeping bags, snacks and pillows and settle in for 24 hours of TV entertainment with Telethon. Hosted by Peter Sinclair, TVNZ ran 4 telethons throughout the 80s, 1981, 1983, 1985 and 1988. The show was always fun viewing and included many international guests, including Sorrel Brook, who was Boss Hogg from Duke Hazzard, and Bruce Whites, who played Mick Belker from Hill Street Blues, Talisa Gibbons from Entertainment Tonight, and Coronation Street's Christopher Quinton in 1989, who both famously fell in love whilst on set, eventually getting married, and later divorced. This Is Your Life. Based on the American show of the same name, the Kiwi version of This Is Your Life first aired in 1984, with Mark Todd being the first recipient of the Red Book. Originally hosted by Bob Parker, the show has so far honoured 39 New Zealanders, and during the 80s celebrated the lives of Kiwi icons such as John Walker, Colin Meads, Selwyn Toogood and Sir Howard Morrison. TV3. One of the last great TV events of the 80s in New Zealand was the appearance of TV3. 3 channels. We were slowly catching up with the rest of the world. Launched on 26 November 1989, the privately owned television channel only lasted 7 months before going into receivership. Westpac helped out by taking a 49% sharehold, allowing the channel to continue broadcasting. That's it for now. Are there any New Zealand TV shows you'd like me to cover in future videos? If so, please comment below.